Well, it took me about 3 days to complete it, but after those 3 days, I can proudly and safely say that Resident Evil 5 is still the worst game in the franchise. And what I don't get is that apparently I'm the only person on the planet who seems to think this. Every other review I've seen, apart from Blame Truths, have just been ragging on this game, calling it the worst game in the series, and it's a complete disaster as a Resident Evil title, and I just don't understand why. I mean, Resident Evil 5 was a terrible game, but people seem to still be mixed on it in some way. Resident Evil 6, people just flat out hate. But this game right here, Resident Evil 6, this is one of the best games I've played in a long time. And I know everybody's probably going like, oh, he's just an action noob who doesn't understand Resident Evil. No, I played the Resident Evil series throughout high school. I have played every single game in the main series. I'm not a noob here. I know my shit. But everywhere I just see these complaints, like the controls are terrible, and the quick time events are terrible, and the story is terrible, and it's not survival horror, and bullshit. Bullshit. Almost all of those complaints are bullshit. The controls are terrible. This game has the best handling of controls I've seen since Resident Evil 4. Capcom's jump over the next-gen consoles brought along controls that were not fit for it. Resident Evil 5 and the Dead Rising games, for that matter, both suffered from very sloppy, very slippery, somewhat delayed controls. Resident Evil 6 doesn't have that problem. This is the first game I have played since 4 where I'm not struggling with the controls the entire time, where we are both in agreement with each other. And the QuickTime events, I honestly really like. You have to time them at the right moment. It's not always just button mashing. You have to just time them just right to get it done. And even when it is button mashing, it's usually the same button, so it doesn't really throw you off all that much. And they're a lot more forgiving, at least I found. I don't know, maybe other people had a problem with them, but I found them to be particularly forgiving. And this is a kid who's not particularly good at QuickTime events. Like, I absolutely fucking despise them. Like, they're right up there with escort missions and sewer levels in terms of bad gameplay design. It's a co-op campaign, but like Resident Evil 5, I don't always have somebody to play with, and my Xbox Live is still down. But sing hallelujah and fuck a goat and praise, because somebody at Capcom finally figured out that you should have competent AI partners. The AI in this game is no longer pants-on-head retarded. They move on their own, they take action commands on their own, and for the love of God, they don't repeatedly shoot you in the back like a Down syndrome patient. I mean, yeah, there are the occasional misfires, but it's nowhere near as annoying as it was in 5. And even if they do end up wasting bullets on you, inventory is no longer shared, which means they're not wasting your ammunition. And the inventory system, I think, is really, like, inventive and cool. You got your own little separate thing for weapons, and you got your own separate things for, you know, ammo and grenades and health and all that, and it works pretty well. I mean, yeah, it's limited. You know, it's nothing you can really do about that. Inventory is always going to be limited with Capcom games, but it still, I think it worked. I think it honestly worked really well. The health system is somewhat regenerating. Like, you have, you know, blocks of health, and within a certain block it'll regenerate, but if you lose the block completely, you don't get it back until you pop a health tablet, which is just grinding up herbs and popping them in this tablet case. And I love it. I honestly have barely had a need to use herbs the entire game. I'm dead serious. The regenerating health just works so damn well. And the navigation system is the best I've seen. No more am I just stumbling around trying to figure out where to go. I just click the button and boop, there I go. The story weaves 4 different campaigns over each other, overlapping, which I think is their first time they've done something like that since Resident Evil 2. I mean, I guess you could count Separate Ways for Resident Evil 4, but considering Separate Ways didn't come out until long after the original game had come out, then I don't know if I'd really count that one. And I think they wrote it really well. I mean, the writing wasn't terrible. Like, well, I mean, okay, the dialogue wasn't terrible. I mean, story writing, you got your usual hamminess, you got your usual, you know, really kind of moments, but I thought they did it really well. I thought it was, you know, they meshed 4 storylines together really well. You got Leon trying to clear his name and also, you know, avenge the president's death. You got Chris, who is a blackout drunk after a failed mission that killed 4 of his men, and he's trying to redeem himself. You got Jake, who's struggling to be, with knowledge that he's Wesker's son, and also the fact that his blood is the only thing that can save the world. And you got Ada, who's basically just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And And I like the characters. This game made me like Chris again. I hated Chris after 5. I like him in this again. I mean, he still gets on my nerves sometimes, but I definitely like him. And Piers is a much better partner to him than Sheva was. And it's a damn shame. I'm not going to say it. It's going to be spoilers, but you get what I mean. Sherry was annoying, even though I'm fairly certain she had Ashley Graham's voice actress, which I honestly didn't really think Ashley was all that annoying. I don't know why people complain so much. Maybe it's just the fact that she didn't carry weapons at all and was, completely helpless. But I honestly never really had a problem with Ashley Graham. And Sherry's great, and it's great to see Sherry again. I mean, we haven't seen Sherry since 2, even though there's one scene where they really kind of play up her sexuality a bit, and it was kind of weird. I mean, I've known the girl since she was, like, 8. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I definitely felt like a creepy pedophile afterwards. Yeah. Jake is easily the best character ever introduced, or at least, well, he's the best character I've seen in the series in a while. He has all of the best dialogue in this game. I swear to God, somebody really had fun writing his lines. And he's voiced by Troy Baker. I didn't even realize that at first. He sounded completely different. But then I could kind of hear it. It kind of sounded like a mix between Troy Baker and Quentin Flynn, which worked. I liked it. Leon's campaign was flawless as far as I'm concerned. Leon obviously had the best campaign out of the 4. Chris had a fun, actiony Resident Evil 5 style campaign where Leon had like a classic Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4 kind of campaign. It really just depends on your mood, what you want to play. Like, I was in the mood for an action, I played Chris's, and I enjoyed it. Survival horror, I played Leon's, and it was great. Jake's was a bit more based around, like, Nemesis and stuff like that, which I thought worked well. Jake honestly had the more frustrating moments of the campaign, because his involved, like, this kind of stealth mission, and I don't do stealth very well at all. That's why I don't play like Splinter Cell or anything like that, because I'm just not good at it. But it didn't detract from the fun that I had. And then Ada had a few frustrating moments as well. She had one really good puzzle though. I really liked that graveyard puzzle. Like that worked. That was a brain tickler. That I needed a puzzle like that. That really made me think. And the villains aren't stock. They weren't like... Okay, Resident Evil 5 had Irving and Excella, 2 of the most annoying villains ever. But the villain of this one, Simmons... You could be a little stock at times and annoying, but he had a good motivation. Like, when you corner him and you're like, why did you do this? He's like, well, the president was going to release the details of Raccoon City and completely undermine the United States' authority over the biohazard matters. If we were to do that, the whole world would have been thrown even to worse chaos. And you got to sit back and think about it and like, you know what? Yeah, that kind of makes sense. He was stopping what could have been a potentially even worse catastrophe than, just a simple zombie outbreak. Because the people's faith in America would have been completely shattered, and it probably would have involved even more wars. I kind of get that mentality. I'm not saying he should have killed him, but I understand. I don't know, I just really like the story ideas and character ideas that went into this game. I thought it worked so much better than it did in Resident Evil 5 with Wesker's "I want to be a god." Oh, God, they neutered Wesker so bad in that game. Jake redeemed him, though. Jake is good at carrying out his legacy, even if he's not evil. It's kind of funny. There's this one line in the game that I remember where it's like, now that's what I call irony. A man spent his whole life trying to destroy the world, and now his son is the only one who can save it. I really like that line a lot. That was a fun line. And even the most absurd moments, like they'll say something like, "You gotta be kidding me." It's like, oh, there's no way this could actually happen. Like, the game makes fun of itself at those moments. And you gotta realize that at that point, when it gets to those kind of parts, like, the game doesn't take itself seriously. It knows that a lot of Resident Evil's charm is in its cheesiness, and I think they played it up pretty well. Oh, before we go any further, actually, I just want to say that the creature designs I really like in this game. Like, they had to make different kind of creatures for every campaign, and I think they made it work very well, because it was just all... I don't know, it felt like there was more effort put into them. Like, it wasn't just the same. Like, every single campaign had, the enemies, like, transformed into some different creature, and I don't know, I like the enemy designs in this game. I think they did really well. And the Nemesis creature is even the best one. I mean, you got, like, the detachable arm and stuff. That was really good. Since I'm giving an honest opinion, I will get into some things that I didn't like about the game. Whenever there are bodies around that aren't zombies, you trip over them, and it's like this huge tripping motion, and it kind of gets annoying. I don't understand why they did that. I guess it's more realistic, but it got kind of annoying. Like I said, the stealth mission in Jake's game was kind of annoying. because I don't do stealth very well. While I didn't find the controls annoying, I did find that the camera could be your worst enemy at times, and there were times where I had to repeat, like, long QuickTime sequences because the camera completely butt-fucked me. The scene where Jake and Sherry are running from the Nemesis monster, I don't remember its name, it's like Ogatak or something like that? I'm not very up to speed with the names of the creatures in this game. Vehicle sections, while I did like them, and I think they handled pretty well compared to most vehicle sections in games, I also think they were a bit overdone. There were a couple that probably weren't needed. But again, I think they handled very well. I didn't have too many problems with them, but they tended to drag on a bit. What is with boss monsters not dying in this game? Like, seriously, every single boss or like big time villain has like 6 or 7 different forms. I'm not even exaggerating here. It feels like that many. I mean, Resident Evil has always had like returning bosses that always keep going at you, like Nemesis and some monsters in Code Veronica and whatnot. But Jesus Christ, these boss monsters just do not want to die in this game. They just keep coming back and keep coming back. And after a while, it's like, Jesus Christ, will you just die already? Although I didn't find the bosses so tedious. Like, I didn't die like 20 times on the bosses. I didn't die at all on Simmons. I only died like once or twice on the final Ugatak or Nemesis fight. Chris's final boss, I only died a bunch of times because it was that really long kind of quick time event scene, and the controls and camera. Well, not the controls, just the camera really screwed me over. But other than that, it was fine. There was this new thing they implemented called skill points, where you use it and you upgrade your certain things. Like, I put all my skill points into defense, steady aim, and lock on and or critical hit. I kind of mixed up those last two, but those were the 4 that I put all my effort into, and I ended up fully maximizing them by the end of the game. And there were times where they give you more skill points than they do ammo, and after a while I was like, okay, thanks for all the skill points. Can I have some handgun bullets now? Please? Buddy? Come on. Handgun bullets. Please. Oh, one enemy that was really annoying were those, towards the end of every campaign, there were these, like, blue, liquor-like monsters that, when you shoot them, they, like, break in half, and then both halves come at you, and I swear to God, they were constantly respawning those fucking things, and they take a lot of bullets. They're a pain in the ass to kill. But overall, I mean, I didn't have too many complaints with this game. Basically, what it comes down to is that, you know what? This is fun. This is a fun game. In 3 days it took me to beat this game. I had more fun playing it than I had playing any other game I've played in the last 2 or 3 years. I'm being completely honest here. And really, it just comes down to effort. They tried with this game. They didn't try with 5. I did not see an effort with Resident Evil 5 at all. And I know if you would dig back through the archives, you would find my Resident Evil 5 review where I was somewhat positive on it. I've been meaning to remake that review. I just haven't gotten around to it. I might still do it if people want to see it, because I actually have a really big thing planned out for that review. But there was no effort in that game. It was a lifeless, soul-sucking game. Like, I've played it so many times, and I still can't get any enjoyment out of it. The story is just weak, and the characters are weak, and the gameplay is terrible, and the creatures are just knockoffs of Resident Evil 4 with the liquors thrown in. I still have absolutely no idea why the liquors were added in there. 6 feels like they were trying again. They were trying to rekindle the old Resident Evil magic with their story and their characters. And I know it's not a survival horror game. Listen, guys, I think that's the biggest complaint, is that, it's not survival horror, it's still an action game. Listen, I love the survival horror aspects. I wish they would go back to it. I don't think they will. If they do go back to it, it's going to be when they remake Resident Evil 2 in the same way they remade Resident Evil 1, which I've heard they've considered doing. I read an article the other day saying that Capcom, if people wanted it, they would do it. So let them know that you want it, because I would love to play the hell out of that game. But I get it. You miss the survival horror. They probably won't go back to that, and it will probably be an action game, and it's going to piss off a lot of people, and it's going to lose a lot of fans. I understand that. But at the same time, if they make more games like they did this game, like in the same kind of with the same kind of attention shown to it, then I think Resident Evil has a better future than what it had after 5. I love the Resident Evil series. That series is my baby. I played it all throughout high school. I love those games to death. After 5, I completely gave up on it. I just saw it as a completely dead franchise with no hope of ever redeeming itself. And I just stopped trying. I didn't get Darkside Chronicles. I didn't get Operation Raccoon City. I didn't get those games on the handhelds that came out. I gave up. I didn't want to play another Resident Evil. And then this game came out with the trailers. I was starting to get excited again, and then it came out, and I love Resident Evil again because of this game. I missed the kind of story it had. I missed the characters it had. I think they put so much effort. That's really the only word I can say, effort. There is effort in this game, and you can clearly see it. You may not want to see it, but it is there. You cannot convince me they did not try with this game, because I just will not believe you. So I give this game an A. I think it's a fantastic game, and I think it's a lot of fun. Honestly, even if you don't buy it, just rent it and play it. You'll have fun with it. Like, if you don't, like, I don't know, okay, I don't really know what I'm saying here, but just try it. I had so much fun playing it. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe I'm just easy to please. I don't know. But this is the most fun I've had since Resident Evil 4. And that's saying a lot. I'm not looking really to change anyone's opinions if you really hate it for legit reasons. I understand that, or what you consider your legit reasons. Like, I'm not looking to change opinion. I'm just looking to get a positive opinion out there because I just see so much negative, and it really just kind of like, why? I love this game. It's fun. I don't know. I mean, let me know what you think. I mean, I'm sure people are going to call me an idiot for loving this game, and like, you're not a true Resident Evil fan, and whatever. Whatever. My only hope going into this game, the day before it came out, was I want to have fun with it again. And I had a blast. So, mission accomplished. I think they did fantastic on this game. Good job, Capcom. Continue to show effort like you did with this, and I will have more faith in you in the future. If you don't, then fuck you. But, yeah, I'm just really satisfied. I'm very satisfied with how 6 came out. So, that's it. Yeah, if you want to see movie reviews by me, there's SickSilck Productions, where I'll be having... currently, I'm doing the Kevin Smith films. I'm probably going to have Chasing Amy up sometime today. Maybe. Hopefully. The same day that this goes up, I mean. I want to, anyway. If I do, I'll have an annotation in the bottom. But, yeah, that's it for now. That's my thoughts. Let me know yours, and I'll see you guys next time.